Hello and welcome. Today, we'll dive into one of the most intriguing mysteries in the Bible: three individuals who never experienced death. This unique aspect of their stories captivates both believers and scholars alike. What can we learn from them? Join us as we explore their lives, their extraordinary journeys, and what these stories reveal about God's plan and promises for us. Part 1. Elijah's deathless departure. Elijah's story begins during the tumultuous reign of King Ahab. He was a prophet known for his courage and unwavering dedication to God's truth, standing as a beacon of righteousness in a time of widespread idolatry and corruption. Perhaps his most famous moment was confronting the prophets of Baal on Mount Carmel. Elijah, with faith and power, demonstrated that the Lord was the one true God by calling down fire from heaven. 1 Kings 18 verses 36 to 38. But even beyond this grand event, Elijah's faithfulness set the stage for an even more miraculous end. As the day of Elijah's departure approached, he traveled with his faithful protege, Elisha, moving from Gilgal to Bethel, then to Jericho, and finally to the Jordan River. 2 Kings 2 verses 1 to 6. Each stop was significant, marked by moments of teaching and prophetic insight. Despite knowing that Elijah would be taken away, Elisha refused to leave his side. At the Jordan, Elijah took his mantle, struck the water, and it parted, allowing them both to cross on dry ground. 2 Kings 2 verse 8. This act was reminiscent of the miracles performed by Moses and Joshua, emphasizing Elijah's place in the line of great leaders. The moment arrived suddenly. As they walked and talked, a chariot of fire drawn by fiery horses appeared, separating the two. In an instant, Elijah was taken up by a whirlwind into heaven. 2 Kings 2 verse 11. Elisha, stunned yet determined, cried out, my father, the chariots of Israel and its horsemen." He then picked up Elijah's fallen mantle, signifying the passing of prophetic authority. This scene represents more than a miraculous departure. It's a testament to God's power over life and death, and his ability to elevate his faithful servants beyond the ordinary course of human existence. Part 2. Enoch's walk with God. The second figure who never tasted death is Enoch. His story is shrouded in mystery, spanning only a few verses in the Bible. Enoch was the father of Methuselah and the great-grandfather of Noah, living during an era marked by growing wickedness. Genesis 5 verses 21 to 24. Despite the corruption around him, Enoch's relationship with God was unique. He walked with God, a phrase that implies deep, continuous communion and obedience. Genesis tells us Enoch walked with God, and he was not, for God took him. Genesis 5 verse 24. This statement, simple yet profound, signifies that Enoch was translated to heaven without experiencing death. The author of Hebrews adds depth to this event, saying, "By faith Enoch was taken from this life, so that he did not experience death. He could not be found, because God had taken him away." The passage continues, "For before he was taken, he was commended as one who pleased God." Hebrews 11 verse 5. Enoch's story is one of unwavering faith, a beacon of hope that points to the relationship God desires with humanity. His translation into heaven prefigures the hope of believers who one day will be taken up to meet the Lord without seeing death, as described in 1 Thessalonians 4 verse 17. Part 3. The prophetic foreshadowing of the end times rapture. The stories of Elijah and Enoch do more than stand as fascinating anomalies. They serve as powerful foreshadows of future events. The New Testament speaks of a time when believers will experience something similar to what Enoch and Elijah did. a moment when they will be caught up in an instant to meet the Lord in the air. Paul describes this in 1 Thessalonians 4 verses 16 to 17. For the Lord himself will come down from heaven with a loud command, with the voice of the archangel and with the trumpet call of God, and the dead in Christ will rise first. After that, we who are still alive and are left will be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air. This event, commonly referred to as the rapture, echoes the divine interventions seen in the lives of Enoch and Elijah. The idea of being taken up without facing death serves as a reminder that God's power transcends the natural laws we know. Enoch's era was filled with darkness, yet he stood out as a man who pleased God. Likewise, Elijah's steadfastness in a time of idolatry marked him as a prophet worthy of God's miraculous intervention. These stories remind us that faithfulness to God can lead to outcomes beyond human comprehension. The stories of Elijah and Enoch are not just historical curiosities. They hold deep spiritual lessons. Both men demonstrated an extraordinary commitment to their relationship with God, showing that true faith is marked by obedience and intimacy. In times of trial or societal decay, believers today can take inspiration from Enoch's steadfast walk and Elijah's courage. When we commit ourselves to walking closely with God, we open our lives to His divine purposes, which often surpass our understanding. Their experiences also offer hope. The Bible promises that death does not have the final say. For those who trust in Jesus, life continues in a far more glorious form. As Paul writes in 1 Corinthians 15 verse 55, "Where, O death, is your victory? Where, O death, is your sting?" In conclusion, the stories of Enoch and Elijah serve as powerful examples of faith that transcends the natural limitations of life and death. Their journeys point us toward a God who is sovereign, loving, and powerful beyond measure. He has plans that defy human understanding, and His promises offer hope that stretches into eternity. Thank you for joining us as we explored the incredible stories of those who never faced death. If this message inspired you, consider subscribing to our channel for more explorations of biblical stories and their lessons for our lives today. May we all strive to walk as Enoch did and trust as Elijah did, holding on to the hope that we, too, are part of God's extraordinary plan.